Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a Manassas campaign for you. Our first round here, two fun rounds tonight by the way. First round is going to be the Colquitt's defense, followed up by the Crossroads. If you live streamed or recorded and uploaded your POV of this match tonight, let me know a link to that, whether it be sending a message in Discord or putting in the comment section, and I will put the link to that in the pinned comment on the video. But anyways, thank you to our YouTube members for the support. If you'd like to support, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do with no ads. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. So our regiments for tonight, on the CSA side, you have the Missouri State Guard, 10th Tennessee, Colquitt's Brigade, 12th Virginia, 30th North Carolina, and 3 Corps, whereas on our Union side, you have the Iron Brigade, Pennsylvania Army, 2 Corps, 5th New Hampshire I Corps, and the Sussy Brigade. Server pop for tonight, it's currently 261. CSA right now up by 5. Artillery Union has 4, CSA has 8. So our infantry in balance right now is 1 in favor of the CSA side. Frontline reporters representing our Union side tonight, we have Archer from the 6th Louisiana, and then on our CSA side, you have Seasoning from the 12th Virginia. Appreciate these guys so you can see what's going on the ground while also seeing what is going on in the sky. And in co-commentating rather, with me tonight, we have Dressel. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I appreciate it, Eagle. I'm very excited to be here. I'm going to keep my personal bio quick. I'm part of the 5th NC. I've had about 4 to 5 years experience with War of Rights. I've been happy through and through. Majority of my time, I've been a part of Sus Brigade, or actually all of my time, beginning with 1st Maryland. And I had my own unit with the 8th Virginia Infantry, and now currently a part of the 5th NC. I'm Sussy Brigade through and through. Personally, I've been working for the DoD for multiple branches for the past 9 years, so I have a lot of experience with the actual military, and I try to implement that in my strategy and tactics in War of Rights, and it's been coming to good effect. I'm always aggressive, and 5th NC has been very reprehensive with that. They followed me through, and we win most of the time, so I'm absolutely biased.
Well, I appreciate your service, and speaking of aggression, Union is just going right in on the side they traditionally don't always go on. CSA is meeting them in the open field.
So I can tell you, I'm a little bit guilty of this, but it's not just me. Majority of Sus Brigade and some of the other leaders on the Union side. So we have 2 offensive maps tonight, and we are set up for an offensive strategy. If you're with Sussy Brigade, you are going to be leading the charge, and we wanted to lead the charge and force the enemy to react to us this evening. That's why the Union is pushing up the right tonight. So we spent an hour coordinating this prior to the event, and this is the plan right now. It's to cross the open, hit hard on the right, force the Confederates to engage with us over their guns. Either they give it up and they give us the high ground, or they turtle and they sit in the tree line, and then we dictate the speed of the battle.
Yeah, very much so, and you just heard Union strategy, and they're going to keep on going here. Why not? So Union, for the most part, likes to go down from the bottom of the woods and push up that side, which is why I was a little surprised to see Union going this way. Not all of CSA was over here. Again, yeah, it would make sense, because Union most of the time goes in the woods. CSA put most of their guys over there. Now they're slowly starting to move in over there, and as mentioned, if Union can take these artillery pieces, which they're very close to at this point, they can take the whole map.
Yeah, as you can see, all 4 of the Union flags are on the right. So just to speak a little bit more to why we decided that, it comes down to a fact that we devote the time to read the terrain and actually try and understand what the terrain will dictate as far as what the enemy commanders will decide and what we will decide, right? We can push left. That would cross less open terrain, put us into cover and concealment, and be more secure if we can actually get a foothold. But it leads into a 50-50 trade with the Confederate team. It is better terrain for them. If we do push the right, while it will cause us more casualties, it is worse terrain for them because we fight them on even terrain. We can volley and shoot them in the face and inflict more casualties. So at the end of the day, if they want to fight us face to face on the Confederate left, the Union right, it's better for the Union because we'll inflict more casualties.
So Union's continuing to push up again. They are not stopping. CSA is kind of sitting back. At least some of their team is trying to, I guess, envelop, but it's kind of poorly done. And so Union is just defeating the CSA in detail right now.
Hey, please note that the Union is being smart, and they have a color guard established in cover and concealment at the rocks. So they're not full sending on these pushes on guns.
Yep, not a bad idea. Don't want to push your flag forward, have it down, and then you can't get spawns in on the fight. So Union, at least on top of the guns right now. 30th North Carolina is trying to now countercharge with some 12th VA.
Yeah. You see that from below. The Confederates are coming from down the slope behind the flags. That's 11th Texas.
Yeah, not a whole lot there from CQB anyway, so Union will be able to at least be there for now. 15th Alabama is now pushing straight up the hill to help 30th North Carolina and 12th VA. CSA
the Union's in a scary spot right now. They need to retain a foothold. The flags get wiped here. It's going to be terrible. They're just going to have to reset. The Confederates have the initiative right now.
Some Union are charging out CQB. Man, I was trying to, get the little, like, ticket imbalance and stuff out, but
gotta move.
This action, holy cow. Normally you don't expect it on Colquitt's defense. CSA now trying to charge down, get Union flags. Union, at least somewhat starting to get out of there. You saw, I think, some 2-core guys charged out CQB.
6LA, Maryland, some of the boys, they're being too aggressive chasing those guys. They need to secure their flags. Oh, the CSA stopped. Oh, I don't know why they stopped.
They would have probably started to overextend a little, it looked like.
That's going to be a tactical mistake. Maybe they were worried about overstretching. Maybe, but they had the only opportunity so far. That's their first opportunity to completely wipe the Union flags, and now the Union have been respawning, especially since it's 5-second timers now.
Indeed, and it's really surprising. I mean, both sides going to be down a morale stage here within the first almost 9 minutes of the round here, which is insane for Colquitt's defense. A couple of things to note that haven't been mentioned yet. So before the update, which at this point was like a month or two ago, time flies, Union had a 26% ticket advantage. Devs gave the CSA 5% more, and now it's only a 21% advantage. Weaponry on this map, Union, they've got the 2nd Wisconsin with the option of the Lorenz and the Springfield 61, and they have the 19th Indiana with the Springfield 61 as well. Meanwhile, CSA, both their regiments, the 13th Alabama and the 6th Georgia, have the same option of weaponry, that being the Enfield or the Springfield 55. So Union hits engage first, CSA shortly to follow. CSA is starting to spread out again. I think they just don't want to be all clumped up in the same area, same cover, but that could lead to Union charging up and trying to defeat CSA in detail. So Union's hit from all sides.
I can just double down on that. Oh wow, that was nasty. As nasty as that looks, this is still to the Union advantage. The Union is dictating the battle right now, right? The terrain at which they're at right now, there's a slight funnel right there where the cannons can hit them. If the Union team is able to establish a foothold back up on those rocks, they can still retain the initiative and dictate the battle right now.
I almost wonder if Union's going to run down the hill and try to go into the woods. I mean, there is some CSA moving there right now. I don't know.
I don't think that's not a part of the overall strategy. Now, at the end of the day, no plan is going to hold up in contact with the enemy. What I think is happening right now, as far as the Union team shifting, I see 5th New Hampshire taking positions in these rocks in this single tree in the middle of the field for cover and concealment. They are a skirmisher unit by nature. I think 6LA is just following suit with them. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I fully redact everything I'm saying. It looks like the entire Union team is navigating that way. I think they're just trying to get away from that cannon fire. Yeah. They think the hill's too far defended.
Looks like they're starting to head down a little more now. They don't use a Steam chat in this event, so the officers can't communicate over a call. Instead, they got to either use the in-game text chat system, which I don't stow on my broadcast, and they can obviously talk to each other in game. And it looks like they're cutting over the woods. Meanwhile, CSA on top of the hill moved down to where Union was just a moment ago and is shooting down, but wide open path for Union into the woods. 15th Alabama is going to try to hold this, but they'll be overwhelmed pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Union have numbers here, and it looks like the Confederates are spreading out on the high ground rather than reinforcing. So it looks like they're conceding it. Yeah. Oh, that's not. Well,
it's not bad. They're down. Union's down on tickets.
It's not bad. It's not bad. You're right. A lot of people really freak out when the attacking team caps really early into the match, but I don't necessarily think it's always a bad thing. You force the enemy to react. You force the enemy out of their position. Unless you have a massive lead,
right?
Like a morale stage and a morale stage and a half. It's not bad to early cap.
The thing is, for those of you watching don't know the cap mechanics, so the attacking team, if the defenders are not in breaking, which it goes battle ready, engage, which is where both teams are at right now, taking losses, then breaking. Once the defenders are in breaking, the attackers can capture the point and win. But if they capture beforehand, they early cap it, and they have to hold the point for a certain amount of time before the attackers can win the game, which is what the gold timer represents. Oh. The thing is if the CSA or defenders were down on tickets and then retook the point, the defending team would go up to the percentage of tickets that the attacking team is at. However, Union's down, so again, not a terrible thing. It stops the black timer, gives Union a little more time. Second Wisconsin running through point right now. MSG, 10th Tennessee, 12th VA is kind of engaging them. Union's sending guys out of the wood line to kind of protect the point, which is not a bad idea per se. I don't know, maybe draw CSA out, get a couple more kills as they kind of are in the open. I don't know. CSA is trying to, like, barely cap it right now with a few guys, which is understandable.
Yeah, no, it's a smart move by the CSA, not trying to put too many people out in the open.
Yeah, but Union...
It kind of forces the Union to get... Look at the 5th and C. The 5th and C is on point.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? CSA's up on tickets. It's not like they're going to gain anything from retaking the point since they are ahead of Union as of this moment. So they want to retake with a few amount of guys. Union, I think, smartly moved guys out and defended the point to force more CSA out into maybe an exposed position. I mean, Union's really inside this woods. CSA is trying to get behind, but it's only a group or two. I don't know if I like 15th Alabama going behind the whole Union team here, because if they're going in on their own, as long as they keep their distance.
They're not going to be able to communicate. They're not going to be able to communicate, and that's going to be the big drawback. If they catch the Union off guard, by all means, they can inflict heavy casualties. But in turn, they could also get wiped. One of the big things here I want to point out is the fluidity of the battlefield, and this is why war rights remains interesting. This is why the meta of war rights continues to change. No matter what you plan for a map, things are always going to change, right? And talking back to the beginning of this match, how we were commentating, normally the Union attack on this map is a full push left into the forest. The Union planned for a full push right to take the high ground. They got halfway up and hit a wall, and the Confederates left the forest open for the most part. They had maybe 15 to 20% of their team down there, and en masse, the Union team moved and took the better part of the forest. The part of the forest they would want if they had initiated with the left flank push. So they're right now still in a very good position, just moved based on where the enemy committed and what the terrain is giving them as an advantage.
And during this counterattack, the Union has evened out the tickets. Both sides halfway through engaged at this point, and it looks like CSA team... again, right, it's hard to communicate. I mean, they have the text chat, which is fine, but obviously text chat is not as great as all being in a voice call, but it seems the CSA is trying to push into the woods and push the Union out from the forest side instead of charging down from the top of the hill down through the open area to point, so see how it works.
I think the CSA gave up their most valuable terrain, which is the corner of the woods that holds a point. The high ground's a high ground, but at the
Oh,
end of the
Union's
day,
charging CSA.
Yeah.
That's Sussy and I-Corps going in. I see 2-Corps as well. And they're rolling over a very spread out CSA right now. And how is the CSA flag still up in the midst of that whole Union team?
It's tough to hear sometimes. I love to hear that. That is the thing that sells War of Rights for me, is the amount of commitment and immersion you can get into the middle of a charge, right? You got people screaming, you got people getting invested, putting enthusiasm into the current situation, and on top of that, you got some random guy in the background blaring fucking music, and it just works. It just works. It sets the tone for the match, and it gets you motivated to push and kill the enemy.
This is about the most chaotic Colquitt's defense I've seen. Some more CSA are kind of counter-charging. A little bit of that Union charge overextended, which we have a little bit of meleeing going on. CSA now down tickets.
I'm curious where the Union flags are right now. I can't see them. I see one on the left, 2, 3. Okay, majority of them are with majority of the Union team on the western flank of the woods. And the last one is holding the corner to the east of the woods. So
the biggest problem for CSA is they're just not together at all. They spread themselves out, and Union took complete advantage. Man, defeated in detail. And I mean, we're halfway through the counterattack gold timer, and that'd be crazy if Union just outright won off an early cap.
I do want to say, any comments I give are completely biased. And it is my right to be biased. Sussy Brigade, as a whole, and this is between 1st Maryland, 5th Texas, or 1st Texas, 5th Florida, New York, Delaware, 5th NC. We're all really good at reading the terrain and reading the enemy and reacting to that. And that is why Sussy Brigade as a whole loves to do conquest. Conquest maps we absolutely adore, because that's when all of that comes to its fullest effect. Maps like this, where you're just fighting over a single point, there's only so many strategies that you can plan out and do. But what it really comes down to is just reading the terrain, reading the enemy, and adjusting. Because no matter what plan you do, it's going to break upon contact.
CSA's going in now.
Oh, there it goes. Let's see if they commit.
If Union holds this charge, they'll probably outright just win on the counterattack.
It seems like the current dispersion, the Confederates are charging through and they're leaving their flank exposed.
Yeah, this is chopped right here. Jesus Christ. Get in here.
So Union and taking
Union's
losses.
responding. Union's moving.
As they come. Stab them as they come.
Yeah, Union's winning at least in the deeper part of the woods to the southwest. CSA, though, is winning near that corner, though. So CSA kind of has an open path to point.
I think the Union mindset right now is to maintain their foothold. They do not want to overcommit. If they lose the point, I don't think they care. It's not that big of a gap. They want to maintain a foothold.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt Union if CSA retakes. Obviously, if you could hold it for the next 3.5 minutes, that'd be great. And I'm intrigued to see. Union is kind of battered from that, so I won't. Yeah, I don't think Union will make a huge push for a point. But I mean,
I do want to congratulate 2nd Wisconsin, and I think 5th New Hampshire is with them in that company. But they got their flag out, and they're going to maintain a countering flank on the Confederate team. They're going to keep they're going to fix the Confederate team and force them to focus on them, or they're going to make them vulnerable in the flank.
Yeah, good flag discipline there. So, CSA, assuming they retake, which Union's not looking to pressure. Union, if anything, should maybe try to push up and maybe take that corner if they feel they have the numbers. But once CSA retakes the point, since they're now down on tickets, unlike earlier, they're going to regain tickets, and tickets are now going to be even with the Union side. So they'll regain a third to a half of morale stage, which sure kind of sucks if you're Union, but as an attacker, if you keeps the tickets even overall, you're in a great spot. And especially considering there's 33.5 minutes left on the clock, Union has all the time in the world to do what they want. If they want to sit and shoot, that's great. If they want to keep being aggressive like they have been, that's great. And speaking of aggressive, they're charging across the open field. And this is not a bad idea as well, right? Remember.
And Zapstar's rallying the guys at the White House. He's rallying them up, so they're going to get hit from two sides. This is perfect maneuvering. Again, this circles back. Second Wisconsin, great fucking job getting your flag out.
I just think the Union's charging in there to die and lose tickets so that the CSA can't regain as many.
I think the Union Gunners are also happy the Confederates are finally out in the open.
So
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Look at them. The Union team holds the better terrain in the forest. They hold the rocks. They hold the cover and concealment.
don't see
The Confederates are stuck in the open right now
CSA has
and
the
hit
rocks
from
on the
two
corner.
sides. Am I wrong? Oh, all right. No, you're right. You're right. All right.
The
So
ever-changing
they're-
battlefield gets you sometimes, that's for sure.
Yeah. They're getting hit from enfilade fire. I see that. No, that's 12th VA. 12th VA, Natty, and 30th NC. There's 30th NC. They were trying to get involved tonight.
Let's go.
Look at them. They're coming in from the northwest, west side. They're coming in. They're going for a wide flank. 12th VA. Fucking Natty's going to hit them in the side.
Oh, hell yeah, getting some of this ground here.
Honestly, this is bad for me. I hope this push works.
Oh, he turns around.
No, he got
Natty.
scared. He got scared. That was the right call. He was outnumbered on that push.
Yeah, so 32 minutes left. Union's kind of split up into two groups. One of the groups by the White House here, a mix of them. Some of them are going to try to charge CSARD out. I assume that's why they're heading out.
If you can see the corner of the tree line near point to the northeast, it's close. It's close. You got a few of the Union skirmishing with them. It's making it bloody.
30th NC, 10th Tennessee, or sorry, 30th NC and 10th Tennessee, yeah, I said that right, are now pushing up into the Union on the woods. They're going in a little spread out, though. I don't know if they have the numbers.
I don't think so.
Outside comment, this is the first time I've ever spectated a competitive match. Actually seeing the cannon impacts from a bird eye view is scary. When you're at the ground level, you're like, oh, I'm dead or I'm not dead. But when you see it from a bird eye view, it's actually scary.
Yeah.
You see the blood spurt, you see all the fucking grass getting picked up.
So that little charge, Union will hold their line. Union looks to be slightly down on tickets, though, so shootout in the wood line. You do have some Union, like, they're charging the CSA already, only a couple of them left. Who is this?
I'm counting
guys.
2 Union flags.
Zapstar and Articus.
They're saying Brest West. They're expecting a push. I don't see a push coming from the west, though.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. The amount of ghost or just wrong callouts it happens, but I mean, it's not surprising. There's so much going on the ground at times.
I do tell my guys to stay observant, to stay vocal. If they make an incorrect fallout or call out,
well.
I don't fault them for it. I will always rather take an incorrect call out than no call out at all.
Right. So Union now starting to shift their team that's in the woods anyways, that being I-Corps and 2-Corps. We got an I-Corps, a 2-Corps, now we have a 3-Corps.
And we have 5th New Hampshire and 2nd Wisconsin still holding near the White House at the high grounds up the road. The only guys stopping them are holding at the rocks and the single tree in the field. That is 11th Texas and CQB.
5th New Hampshire's going for a pre-cap right now. CSA's about to hit breaking. If they cap, they win off the rip, so...
Oh, you are completely correct, sir. That's nasty. That's nasty.
Meanwhile, in the woods, some Union getting a tad bit aggressive. 5th North Carolina and some I-Corps guys are charging over the rock, which 10th Tennessee is now charging way past that and trying to get Union flags to get one for the moment. Union hits braking first, CSA shortly to follow.
5th New Hampshire could have stayed in the cap, but they charged into the Confederate team.
Someone's still
I
capping
was about to congratulate 5th New Hampshire on that. They could have capped it. Somebody's there. I don't see
Texas
them.
PA guys down towards the bottom of the hill there. CSA, I think, CSA move on the cap point, and they're going to stop that. A lot of Union to the east are just shooting at and not charging. Some are actually going up to the top of the hill, so...
Yeah, CSA is taking the point back now. It's very close. It's very close. Good job, CQB and 2nd Mississippi responding. 11 Texas, yeah.
So both sides now in braking. CSA very slightly up on tickets. They will hold the point there. Meanwhile, looking up towards the top of the hill, you got Iron Brigade and 2nd Wisconsin now heading up there.
Keep it moving, Brad.
I'm surprised to see the Union and the tree line still holding and engaging. I see 3 stars up there, and I don't know who it is, but why they're still there, I don't know. Pennsylvania. Oh, it's Sausage Brigade. Okay. I think it's the fog of war. I think it's the fog of war. It's the fog of war. They don't know how many of the Confederates are in front of them. Maybe they think it's more than it actually is. As I can see, I see 1 Confederate star in front of 3 Union stars in the forest.
Start getting some fire on these guys.
Okay, 2 Confederate stars now.
So everyone's really spread out. Charging happening up on top of the hill to the north.
Yeah, it's nasty now. The Union's completely fallen back on the right flank. The Union right, Confederate left.
Now that Union right pushed up on the top of the hill, and they're charging right now, kind of by CSA and the JD.
Confederates hold the center. You said the Union's pushing up the hill?
They pushed up the hill like 2 minutes ago, and their Iron Brigade, 2nd Wisconsin, are like charging JD on top of the hill. They barely won. They have their flag.
Yeah, they're all dead. I see a 5th. Why is Invictus up here? He's away from his unit. Oh, poor Invictus. I'm telling Zoo. You're in trouble.
Union in the wood line starting to get aggressive, or in the woods rather. They are pushing upwards. They do see 30th NC kind of out on their own, and rightly so. They're backing off, trying to get with friendlies. Tickets still about even. Huncho is screaming like a madman.
Hey, that's how 5th NC makes shit happen. I'll even personally say I get a positive and also a negative reputation throughout the units and the pub community. I'll be out there. I'll be screaming at people. I'll make shit happen. And if it works and it wins, people are like, oh, well, Dressel, great fucking job, man. Thanks for yelling at people. Initially, I get a lot of negative feedback, like, why are you yelling at me?
Right.
And it's like, dude, we gotta win. We gotta do this.
So, Union charged up the hill at 30th North Carolina. 30th North Carolina retreated. 12th VA came in to assist and started shooting at the Union. Union ignored 12th VA and are dive bombing the point right now, and they are starting to cap it. That is...
Suster Brigade's on the point. Suster Brigade's on the point. 5th NC, Maryland, Zap, Doug, Artreas, flags on point. I see 2 flags, 3 flags.
Meanwhile, the southwest south side of point, I-Corps now running out of the woods and charging into 15th Alabama, who's not on the point. The side that 15th Alabama's on, that half rock wall, on that side,
do you see that? Yeah. Yep.
So, that's a down flag for CSA. CSA now grouping from the forest line and trying to charge in. A lot of these Union guys are not on point, by the way.
Yeah, but they're in position to shoot the CSA. They're in position to shoot. As long as they inflict the casualties, they can still move on to point. Also, shout out to 30th North Carolina. This is recently, they're new to the Saturday events with the Manassas, Maryland campaign. And I want to thank them for joining.
CSA already just had the most beautiful shot on the Union line that I've ever seen, and then immediately shot one shot right into their whole friendly team. That was awesome.
Quid pro quo.
So Union still taking points. CSA trying to do a two-pronged attack, and it looks like Union is... CSA already shot into their friendlies again. Union wins. Dressel, your thoughts for the round?
Union already won? That was too fast. That was too easy. All right, I'm completely biased in this, and anybody on the Confederate team is going to say this. But I do feel like the Union played the terrain. And not only playing the terrain, they played the enemy. They saw what the enemy devoted to. The Union's original plan, like I was saying before, was to push right on the Union right flank and take the high ground. They met resistance. The Confederates fully invested into defending the high ground on the right. The Union was able to evacuate their flags, regroup, push, and take the corner of the tree line closer to the center of the terrain. And from there, they just dictated the battle. The Confederates were not able to wipe the flags en masse, which I think that was the only thing the Confederates could do to retake the initiative, was to wipe the Union flags.
Indeed.
I think from the beginning of the battle and the Union getting to the top of the hill and retaining their flags, from that point forward, they maintained the initiative and won the engagement.
Indeed. We'll see you all shortly for round 2. And here we are with the start of our second round, Crossroads. Balance for our second round as of right now is 267. Union's up by 5 right now. Artillery looks like Union has 5, CSA is 4. So our infantry in balance right now is 5 in favor of the Union side. We don't know much about the ticket percentage advantage towards the attackers on this map. However, in the recent update, the developers said they gave 7.5% more tickets to the defender side. These numbers that we have, at least for like, oh, the attackers have X percentage advantage, that was all community tested. That was not the devs giving us their numbers, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Anyways, weapons for this map. Union, they've got the first Minnesota with the option of the Springfield 55 and the Springfield 61. And then you also have the first Rhode Island with the option of the Lorenz and the Springfield 61. Whereas CSA, on the other hand, they have the 8th Florida with the option of the Enfield, Springfield 55, but more importantly, the Springfield 42, which acts as a shotgun essentially. And they have the 3rd Arkansas with the option of the Enfield and also the Springfield 42. So, Dressel, in your opinion, how does each side want to play this map?
Hey, I want to say, since the maps for the skirmishing. I'm sorry. What is this map called again?
Drill camp.
Yeah, drill camp maps. This map is my baby. Crossroads is one of my favorite maps since the new maps released. Initially, when I saw it, I saw how narrow it was, what the terrain was like. I was like, this. So much strategy can be fostered on this map. There are a lot of different opinions on how to play this map, and I can go on for probably an hour of the different ways you can play this map. The Confederates can hold forward if they want to. It is completely feasible and possible. But what I want to preach while I have the floor is the correct use of buck and ball. If you keep a company or a sizable element with rifles skirmishing the enemy, fixing the enemy, and either confusing the enemy into a charge where they think that the force is too small, or forcing the enemy to maneuver and ambushing them, use the buck and ball in close engagements. And that is what appears to be the Confederate strategy right now. The Confederates are fully occupying the best terrain on this map for them, which is the tree line to the southeast. And they hope to catch the Union in closer engagements and hopefully put that buck and ball to good use. It looks like the Union's pushed up and already taking majority of the terrain on the Union left, Confederate right.
Union's going in. At least you got Sussy Brigade kind of on the left side going into the wood line. A little behind them in the center, you got Iron Brigade, 2nd Wisconsin. More towards the center of the map, you got 2 Corps. But Union's going in. They're a little spread out as a team, though. And buck and ball is starting to shred.
I want to say the Confederate team, I want to go ahead and say great work great work on your defense right now. They read the map, they read the terrain, and they know what the Union team wants to do. When I was a part of the coordination for the Union team on this map, I fully proposed a Union left, Confederate right flank push. Because the corner of the terrain they're fighting over right now is the most important terrain of this map. It dictates the capture point because it's so close to it. It offers cover, it offers concealment, and whoever owns it wins the game. The Confederates did not hold forward. They did not hold at the edge of the tree line. Rather, they held it deep within the tree line. They lulled the Union into a push, and the Union pushed in piecemeal, and they volleyed them.
Yeah, Union partially charged in, some sat back and shot, and now it looks like they're trying to get all of them to charge in. Continue.
Yeah, no, congratulations to the Confederate team. I think the Confederate team is making the right choice right now. I disagree right now with 6LA extending to the right, but I understand why he's doing it. They are not communicating, so he knows there's stiff defense in the forest. He doesn't know if he's going to get reinforcements, so he wants to put his guys into a position where they can be effective. So 6LA, I would probably make the same decision if I was in your shoes.
CSA countercharging Union. Union lost the charge, and now Union's lost the flag.
Oh, I see they're getting one flag out, though.
They'll be able to pick up that flag that was downed. Looks like only a couple CSA countercharged. If they all did, they'd probably get it.
They got the flag back. They got the flag back. Okay. The Union still has a... Oh, the Union still has the initiative. They got a foothold. 15th Alabama might be able to defeat that, though. 15th Alabama in the center, near the barn. They're pushing up. They're hitting the flank of both sides.
Yeah, so 2 Corps runs up and shoots into 15th Alabama, moving in from the right side, and 15th Alabama doesn't like getting flanked, so they retreat. CSA only slightly up on tickets right now.
So far, it's looking good for the Union team. The Confederate team also looking good for them. The Confederate team is holding the terrain they need to hold. And congratulations to their leadership. I can't tell you how many times I've been in conversations over how to defend or how to attack on this map, and I've had people talk about, oh, we need to hold the western flank. We need to put people out in the western flank. In my personal opinion, that makes no sense. The only thing that makes sense is holding the tree line because of where the point is located. It holds the best terrain to control the point.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a CSA strategy where they just outright hold in the woods like this. Usually, as you just mentioned, they hold out kind of towards the center of this map, whether it be the barn or the house.
I've been preaching, and I have been preaching and preaching since this map released that the CSA needs to hold the tree line. As you can see, 5th New Hampshire completely controls the cabin. They control the cabin just to the west-northwest of point. And it doesn't matter. They have no one to shoot at, and they can't take the point by themselves. If they pushed up and they captured the point right now, they would be overwhelmed.
So Union pushes up a little bit to try to get quote-unquote better shots, but CSA kind of mimicked that, and the Union now backing off. CSA, some of their line is getting back into the woods as well, so this is actually...
The Union's not going to take this tree line unless they do a concise and coordinated push. Or unless the Confederate team completely stops working together. The Confederate team the wood line is their advantage. However, if the Union pushes and coordinates a full frontal assault on the wood line and gets a foothold, they can win the match. So that's what makes this small, very small tree line here the most valuable terrain on this map.
And actually, some CSA JD guys ran out of that woods. I mean, still kind of in some trees, but they ran out of that defensive line to pop some shots and go back. But yeah, there's no real need for CSA to push out of the woods. Again, you got the bucking ball. You have a strong defensive position. Just wait for Union to push in on you and do what you've been doing. Because, I mean, it's working. CSA's up a little bit on tickets. 15th Alabama, MSG pushing out. Trying to get some shots on Tukor as a stone wall. Union can early cap if they want, which they are moving guys over to that southwestern side now. Banners is moving that way right now with 5th NC. Are they? Can you go around the lake entirely? Oh my goodness, you can.
You're right. You're right that buckball should be used that way, but there's always cover and concealment. If you find a path that you can use and ambush the enemy, by all means do it. If you can see, the Union team is adjusting. Their initial plan for pushing the left flank hard, the Union left, Confederate right, hard, failed. It didn't work. They had a foothold. They got pushed off. They have to recommit. They're going to try and push right now. I hope for the Union team that they're able to eventually get a foothold in the forest. That only makes it easier for them. Can they win from holding the west-northwest flank? Yeah. They totally can. But if they are able to get a foothold in the forest, it just makes it almost a certainty.
Yeah.
One unit's moving in right now. 5th Florida, 5th NC, Bullrog. I don't know who the officer is. They're getting wiped right now.
Yeah. If the... What? There's a CSA officer in the midst of this Union Frosty space.
It's really confusing.
He just exposed the Union little flank around here, which might throw CSA off, but Union's gonna hit engage in a second. Man, oh man.
Yeah, I'm regretting being here right now. I wish I was on the field right now.
You can always leave and go play, and I'll just commentate the rest of this.
I was supposed to lead the 5th NC for this map, and yeah, I lead the 5th NC for this map, but like I also, God damn it, I will scream at our friendly units to make something happen.
And they're going.
And watching this from a bird's eye view is just painful right now.
It can be frustrating at times. Like you have this this banners kind of flank in 5th NC, literally just sussy flank behind the whole CSA team, and because no Steam chat per se, the rest of the Union didn't charge in, and so that Union push maybe surprised a couple people, got a couple kills, but overall didn't do a whole lot. Now Union hit engage. CSA still slightly up on tickets.
All I want to say is I fully congratulate the CSA team for reading the map, reading the terrain, and making the correct decision. Holding in reserve in the forest, not at the edge of the forest, but holding back and expecting a full push on the forest. Good fucking job. Good job.
Union far left, 2 cores trying to go in. They're hitting JD on their own. Union is not sticking together. They're really... I don't know. They're not working together, it kind of looks like. Or, I don't know.
JD is trying to push out a flag on the right, or excuse me, Confederate right, Union left. Flag's down.
Yep.
JD is fucking owning the field over there. First Georgia sitting behind a stone wall, just skirmishing. I think it's effective, but if I was a part of the Union team, I would be mad right now. I really hate when people are sitting there skirmishing when I'm trying to push.
Rise and then shoot.
You know,
what a great shot, Boyd. That was like
they are making the right decision right now. First Georgia, you are doing the right thing. You're outnumbered. You have the Confederates in front of you, and you're in cover. You're fixing more of the... Oh, they're about to get messed up. We'll look at the eastern side of the barn.
Yeah, I mean, CSA's crouching there. Union, though, is on point capping. Banners kind of running... I don't know if they're on it, but they're on CSA's side to the west of the woods. Meanwhile, some 5th NC... Or, sorry, 5th NH Always mix that up. Charged in the 30th North Carolina in the woods. 30th North Carolina just has numbers there. Union early cap would not be bad, but I don't know if time's going to be a factor at this point. I mean, Union has already lost a morale stage and a fourth by time we've gotten to the 31-minute mark here. Plenty of time left on the clock.
Pile, I see 5th and C, Corporal Pelago sitting there. Pelago, I wish you the best. I wish you the best. You are outnumbered to a man right now. 1 against 30, 1 against 50. I think that's better odds. You got it.
So, 10th Tennessee pop out, take a volley at Banners that forces Banner off. CSA now leaving the wood line on the CSA right. Trying to, again, just keep the pressure on Union, which I don't think they necessarily need to do this. But at this point, they're almost a half morale stage ahead at this point. So I don't think it matters a whole lot.
God, the Confederate team is playing this map so well. So well. And, God, this makes me upset. I'm happy and upset at the same time. I'm happy to see that the Confederate team is playing this map so well, but I'm also mad because I'm not playing it with the Confederate team. Since this map released, even though the Confederates are at a disadvantage of tickets that has recently been buffed with the most recent patch, they've been given more tickets. This is the kind of defense I've been preaching. A rear defense and the tree line, and it's working so very well for them right now. It's working so well. They completely given up the western flank and held the terrain that mattered. And now the Union team is trying to flex and maneuver, and they can only communicate in voice comms or through text chat. They're trying to make something happen, and it's just slow. It's slow. The Union team is being slow to react right now and slow to organize.
I mean, it's also helpful for CSA because they're all like, all right, this kind of big map, we're just going to sit in one area and just hold it here. So it's not like they have to travel far to communicate with the rest of the team.
Yes. Which, in hindsight, you could say that the Confederate team did not need a buff in tickets on this map. And I know it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I do not think the Confederates needed a buff on tickets on this map. I think that the Confederate officers playing this map, especially in pubs, were just playing it poorly. I think the Confederates 100% have the advantage on this map.
Based on what I'm seeing so far tonight, I mean, I could definitely get behind that statement because I personally have not seen CSA try to do this. Charging on point. What was this? JD, 15th Alabama, so 3 corps charging into a large Union force by this house near point, and they're going to lose their flag.
They're getting wiped.
Yep. That is not a move you want to make as CSA. Again, they're up by a lot of tickets, and so they're still okay. They're still good, I would say, but you don't want to go and lose the flag.
I think they're about to give up. I think they're about to give up the terrain they've been holding this entire game. If the Union pushes through...
It's a good countercharge from Union.
Yeah, the Union's going to push through and take the tree line.
Union wiped the CSA group and like, all right, we might have an advantage here. Let's all charge at this CSA group. Kind of hard to see who's winning per se, but it's not a bad idea from Union to maybe try to get an advantage. Yeah, Union's going to take it. Wow. And that's down 2 CSA flags down.
Am I crazy? Is there a Confederate group to the north?
Yep.
There is.
12th VA.
10th Tennessee, 12th VA. Oh my God. You guys are going to give the field. You guys are doing a fantastic flank by all means, but you're going to give the field by doing it. First Georgia is going to be here to stop you too.
We'll see.
Those aren't friendly. Those aren't friendly.
Were they yelling that's friendly?
Yeah.
So, just kind of zooming out overall here, Union kind of has numbers on the field right now. That's half the CSA team that doesn't have their flag, so they have to spawn in at main. And
there's at least a quarter of the CSA team in spawn.
Yep. And Union's kind of pushing the advantage. If I was Union, I would be trying to push the pace as much as I can while the CSA is still, in a sense, disarray. I know as Union, you want to get formed up before doing that, but...
Well, I can tell you right now, the Union has taken the terrain that they've been wanting to take since the beginning of the map. they hold to the north side of the pond. That is what they want. That's the terrain that controls the capture point. So all they care about right now should be reinforcing the terrain they currently hold. I know 12th VA is currently behind the Union line, and they're holding up some of the Union line, but everybody else should be reinforcing that point.
And 2 Corps just got a 3rd CSA flag down. Last CSA flags are 12th VA and 10th Tennessee. CSA,
it's a hard thing to say, but the 12th VA, I think, threw by routing and going behind the Union line. I know it sounds like a good thing to flank the enemy and hit them in the ass, but I think if they had been in the tree line holding with the rest of the Confederate team, they might have been able to stop the Union charge.
The CSA was up by like a third to a half morale stage, and their whole team just split up and went out of the area that they were doing so good in. Made no sense, and Union defeated in detail.
You're
really
100%
poor play
correct.
from CSA. Terrible.
15th Alabama crossing the open field from their cannons.
Well, they got to get their flag.
Sussy.
They don't have a flag.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're CSA and you're going to do this, you might as well just sit back and turtle. Or...
Yeah, I mean, you're just feeding the Union team tickets at this point. Do not cross the open terrain into a Union defense. Huzzah! As you hear it, huzzah!
CQB and 30th North Carolina doing the smart thing in going from their main spawn through corn cover and into the woods. They will be able to get back their down flag at least. But Union do cap point both sides and taking losses. So
the wise choice. The
CSA, now that they're in taking losses, that gold timer starts at 7 minutes instead of 12 minutes, which would have been the case if CSA wasn't engaged, which they were a second ago. So CSA's got 7 minutes to retake, and I mean, it's going to take CSA a few minutes just to get organized to try to push in on the Union. They can definitely do it with the buck and ball. They do have some avenues to attack, whether it be pushing up right on the point, not in the open where 15th Alabama was, but going through these trees by the pond where CQB and 30th North Carolina went. They could all go through there. They could all flank around the pond like we saw from Sussy Brigade earlier in that tiny little push-up. I mean, CSA has options, but the problem is that they're all spread out and kind of disorganized right now. And so trying to actually organize yourself is going to be difficult.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I gotta point this out. 12th Virginia holding just east of the barn. They fell back in detail, and 5th New Hampshire, who's on the Union team, was in their line. They had guys such as Doctor stabbing them as they fell back, and they killed over 60% of 12th VA as they retreated.
Thanks.
Even to where they fall back. Doctor was the last guy alive, kept stabbing.
Thank you for saying that.
Good job, 12th VA.
Because I looked over and I'm like, where's 12th VA and 10th Tennessee? And I saw they had 5 or 6 guys up, and I'm like, why are they defeated? That was confusing, but that explains it. That's actually crazy. I wish I would have caught that. New
Hampshire defeated them in detail, snuck in. They're a small group, but they were able to sneak in, and they just kept stabbing them as they retreated.
So, CSA, a lot moving out of their main spawn. That 12th VA, 10th Tennessee respawn is hitting 2 Corps. I don't know if 2 Corps sees them. Now they do, because their flag got dropped.
I think the Confederates have a chance to retake the initiative on this map. The Union is holding in the road and to the west. The Confederates can retake the tree line, and that's the only position from where they can retake the point.
Yeah, that's a nice part for CSA. They don't necessarily have to expose themselves to capture the point, just holding down by that pond. I mean, CSA is getting close to that. You got a chunk of groups there, 15th Alabama, CQB there, some JD as well. Opposite side of the little pond here, you got JD and some 30th North Carolina guys charging through there, and then 12th VA, 10th Tennessee further. CSA, at this point, it looks like they have all their flags, some of them despawned, and Union actually spearheading out of the point. Some banners guys charging into 15th Alabama. I don't think they realize how much CSA is in the woods here.
What's happening here? What's happening here? Brace your front, brace your front, brace your front, brace your front, brace this shit, brace this shit.
More Union are now moving in.
Brace it up.
Actually, it was just, yeah. So, I mean, Union... Oh, my goodness. A lot more Union charge than I didn't see. Looks like I-Corps got involved as well. And Union's actually going to win that charge and maybe get a CSA flag down, or at least throw it out of position. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pond, JD, 12th, the 10th Tennessee, it's not like they knew their friendlies were being charged out there. So, again, that's just unfortunate. Good job on Union taking initiative, defeating in detail before the CSA can really gather themselves up.
Can I just say, again, this is my bias, but it plays out on the map. Sussy aggressiveness. That is Sussy aggressiveness right there. Banners, 1st Maryland, 5th Florida, 5th NC, 1st Texas. Whoever you see that's a part of the Sussy Brigade, Delaware, New York, we're always aggressive. We're always pushing the initiative. Most of the time it works out for us. And thankfully, that time it did. Sometimes it doesn't. But good job, guys.
If Union wins this game, this might be one of the largest throws I've seen in a War of Rights match.
No. Eagle, you missed last Sunday. I messaged you about it. You missed the last Sunday.
Yeah.
The Confederate team completely threw. And just speaking to that real quick, the Confederate threw so hard, they gave the Union team the entire tree line on the east. They threw so hard, we won within the first 15 minutes of the match.
That's crazy. So, Union's reforming a lot of their team is with the flags behind the house. They're starting to trickle forward. Meanwhile, the whole CSA team is about to congregate. I don't know if to the northwest of this house is on point. I don't think it is, where the Union flags are.
It's not. It's not.
It's good to know. So, CSA is hunkering down by the pond. I know some of them are at least on cap. CSA realizing they're not taking it, or maybe they're just not on cap. Some are starting to trick forward and charge.
I think these guys back here are waiting for the cap to actually start ticking down.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think maybe they're sending the cover. It's shitty for the rest of their team, but it is a reserve force, so they should be coming in now. Yep, here they go. That's a fresh wave coming in with loads. I don't know if you want to throw it in. We got clips from the last Sunday. It's a Union push from the tree line, exact opposite flank, holding the flank, and we absolutely took the Confederates in the ass. But it looks like the Union team now is taking them face to face. And it's close. It's close.
Point still going in CSA's favor right now, despite Union still sending guys in. Union is slow. It's tight.
The Confederate team is holding the better terrain. They have the defilade, and that's what matters. And that's why the tree line is the most important terrain for this point. If you push the western flank, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, and that's what I always preach on this map.
So Union win. Oh, they almost went back the road.
Oh, sad star. Rest in peace. 10th Tennessee. Whoever's holding, they're making the right choice. The Union needs to hold. They need to hold. It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
Overtime's going to start for a brief moment. CSA has to continually cap it. They will. Union's going to regain, or CSA is going to regain some tickets here, and we are even at a high breaking. At this point, Union can cap the point and win. They obviously don't have the numbers to do that, because if they did have the numbers, they would have already won the game at this point. So, CSA, at least eventually, got back together. Now starting to push out a little bit, trying to get some shots. Now, if CSA could maybe try to get those Union flags, I don't know if they realize they're behind that house there, but CSA has the numbers to do it. I don't know if they realize that they do, though.
They're at the fence right there.
It's not like pushing out has ever helped them in this game so far, so, or at least this round anyway, so.
No, you're 100% correct. The CSA cannot push out. They should not push out. That road, the half-stone wall, that is their barrier. The forest, the pond, like, that is their domain on this map. If the CSA pushes out past that, they're putting themselves at a disadvantage. They're only costing themselves tickets, especially if they're running buck and ball. if they have rifles, there's the argument they could come out and put inflating fire on Union units. But from the current Union position, especially 12th VA pushing out right now, it is not the right choice. Or, excuse me, 2nd Mississippi.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there.
All the Union team has to do right now is completely regroup and do a final push. And I think the Union team is making the right choice right now. They're pulling back from the cabin. They're giving up the useless terrain. And I think they're going to make another eastern flank push. If you can look at the stars right now, at least half of the Union team is pulling back.
Yeah, and I mean, again, similar to last round, Union with an early cap and also just aggressiveness kind of overall, partially due to CSA completely leaving their great defensive line and engaging with the Union. A mix of all of that. But, I mean, Union's got 22 minutes. Again, they can do whatever they want. If they want to sit back, shoot. If they want to charge, all the time in the world.
The CSA
That's why I love being
is
aggressive.
responding. The CSA is responding. And I want to continue from the beginning of the match to now to congratulate the CSA defending team. They are doing what they should be doing. They're mirroring the Union team, and they're holding the correct terrain. Half the Union team fell back, pushed east. Half the CSA team pushed east in the tree line, and they're ready to engage.
It actually, that might have been only some of the Union, a lot of the Union were shifting, but only 6LA went over to this east side. A lot of CSA are kind of over there. Most of the Union is still kind of center side of this map, breaching up behind that house. Union might be making a full send at the point soon.
They're moving now. These guys behind the house are moving now. They're moving east.
Oh, yeah.
Them in the open, and the CSA have pushed out of the tree line because they thought they had the numbers, but they're about to be ambushed and be outnumbered. Hopefully, it plays out in the Union favor, but that's my opinion.
Right here. Come on.
Artreus from 1st Maryland leading the charge. 5th Florida, 1st Texas behind him.
Take the rocks.
6 LA is still putting down fire from behind the barn.
I don't know why JD's doing this. This has not worked all game. This is not going to work now. Again, maybe they didn't see how many Union were coming this way, but
That's exactly what I was saying. They pushed too far forward.
you don't want to put yourself at risk there. So you have
That
some
tree line
charging
is
on the barn too. 6LA.
That tree line is their domain. Yeah, 6LA's taking it. Good job, 6LA. Good job. They saw the left flank got wiped. They're pushing forward.
Never mind.
Now they have the initiative. They can roll the flank because they wiped them in detail. Hopefully the rest of the team sees this.
So both sides really spread out right now. Tickets still very much even, which is very good for the attackers. The reason why is because if both sides hit their final stage at the same time, the final stage for each team is different. The attackers hit final push. Final push will lower the black timer down to a certain time. That certain time is different on each map. And that certain time is the amount of time it takes to get from your main spawn as an attacker to the point 2 times without bayonets and reloads. So it's different on each map. But anyways, black timer lowers to that amount, but the attackers still have infinite spawns at that point. So limited time, infinite spawns. Tickets don't matter. CSA is last stand. And at that point, if a CSA player dies or Defender player dies, they won't respawn anymore. So if each side hits their last stage at the same time, Union, while having a limited time, is still just going to keep being able to spam guys out while CSA can't. So, as long as Union kind of keeps things even for the rest of this match, it should be a great thing for them. So Union, with the amount of time they have, could really just shoot this out with the CSA for the rest of the time. Union has more tickets than Attacker does, and with them having rifles compared to CSA, who probably is taking buck and ball, Union might be more accurate overall and get more kills. But even if both sides are trading on kills, like a 1-to-1 trading kills, which is generally the case, there's so many factors going into if a shot hits, like accuracy of the person's skill, elevation, suppression, all that jazz. It's a 1-to-1 trading kills, I would say. And that means it's a 1-to-1 trade in tickets most likely. And since the attackers have more tickets overall, it's going to hurt the defenders more over the long run.
What
which
has
might
me
not have a huge
scared
impact, but
right now is the fact that the Union right, which is majority my unit, 5th NC, I see 2nd Wisconsin, some 4th Texas, some other boys out here behind the cabin to the west. They could completely put flanking fire or enfilading fire on the Confederate eastern flank. And I don't know if they just don't see it or they're ignoring it right now.
I mean, they're shooting at a couple CSA, but yeah, it could be maybe a good window there that they're missing. They'd be closer shots.
Like, they could put their guys completely behind the cabin and just shoot down the road. They have that Confederate, half of the Confederate team on the flank right now, and they could put them into final stand.
I've killed like 5 people in front of their house, and they just still haven't
Hardly left.
So, I like what Union's doing. They don't want to, you know, they'll probably, I would have, we won't know until we actually see it, but it's close. It almost looks like CSA is going to hit last stand first, which then Union could again just keep shooting them down until they hit final push and then charge in, or just keep shooting. The black timer is going to probably be 3.5, 4 minutes, I would assume. So Union still has plenty of time to shoot this down if they want, even if that clock gets lowered. So we'll see. You do have some Union movement by the barn here. Banners is pushing right up onto the stone wall. They got great shots on 15th Alabama. And they're charging. Very bold here.
Let's go. Huncho's leading them. Huncho's leading them. That's Sussy. That's Sussy pushing through. Confederates about to go into last stand, and Union's about to go into final push. Here it is. This is the decision. I hear Zapstar screaming from behind. There's Doug.
CSA drops first, so at this point CSA can't respawn. If someone on CSA was dead when they hit last stand, they spawned main. That's why you see some CSA at the main spawn. It lets CSA have one full wave, and the Union left is charging into this woods, or at least getting very close to the wood line. Union, its final push. Clock drops down to 4 minutes, 3 seconds. It's going to be very hard for CSA to survive for 4 minutes without any spawns.
How dare you tell me not to panic?
Because at this point, CSA just needs more bodies on point when the clock hits 0 to win. And, I mean, 4 minutes is a long time. Especially when Union's going to keep getting respawns here.
I just want to say, through and through, I want to continue to congratulate the CSA team on this map. The CSA team has been playing what they should do. Like, they've been doing everything they should do. I think the only thing I don't like that the CSA team has done was 12th VA flanking behind the Union line. I understand why they did it. They saw an opening and they went for it. But I think at the end of the day, it cost their team more than it benefited them. I think this map is really, really even. Honestly, with the recent benefit to tickets to the CSA team, I think it's more CSA biased. But it's still completely viable for either team to win this map. It's not like Dunker's Church or, you know, Nicodemus Hill, where it's anybody's fucking game, right? Or excuse me, one team's game. This map is anybody's game. It depends on the leadership and how the leadership plays it. The Union team lost the initiative on this map, and they've just brought it back from the brink. And I really hope the Union team wins, but I understand if the Confederate team wins.
CSA, I don't think they're going to win it at this point. There's barely any CSA left. They don't get spawns. Union gets spawns. CSA had this game in the bag, and then basically their whole team pushed out and spread apart. Sure, I mean, 12th VA, 10th Tennessee, they did the flank, but they weren't the only one doing stuff like that. And as a result, CSA had built such a great lead, and they lost it in a matter of a couple minutes. And Union's going to win this game because of that big mistake. CSA had great moments, don't get me wrong. They had such a great start to the round, and they just played exactly opposite how you would have expected. I mean, they spread apart, they weren't together, they put themselves in the open, compared to forcing the Union to charge at them with buck and ball. It's just, it is what it is, and Union's going to pull off a win. But
you're completely correct. The CSA had the win in the bag, and they fucked it up. And I hate to be that guy, but I told at least two of the 12th VA officers yesterday what they were doing wrong defending this map in a pub match, and they didn't listen. And I think that ignorance carried over into this game, and it lost them the match.
yeah, I mean, it can be boring to sit back in the woods, obviously, but if you want to win, sometimes, turtling or doing something like that is what you have to do. Regardless, though, still 2 fun rounds to watch. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do without ads. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord and our YouTube Clips channel. If you like the daily YouTube shorts, that stuff is in the description. And if you were playing in this match, live streaming, recorded, and uploaded, send me your link, and I'll put it in the pinned comment. Lastly, War of Rights is 50% off. Revolutionary War event starts in a couple of days. But I appreciate you all. Could not do this without you, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your night.